lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons in Botswana may face legal issues not experienced by non-LGBT citizens. Both female and male same-sex sexual acts have been legal in Botswana since the 11th of June 2019 after a unanimous ruling by the High Court of Botswana. However, the ruling is being appealed to the Court of Appeal. In recent years, the LGBT community has become more visible and accepted among Botswana's population. The Botswana High Court has been at the forefront of LGBT rights in the country. In 2016, it ordered the government to register Botswana's main LGBT organization, LEGABIBO. And in 2017 it ruled that transgender people have a constitutional right to change their legal gender. In 2019, it struck down colonial-era laws banning homosexuality, and ruled that sex, as defined in Section 3 of the Botswana Constitution, should be generously and purposively interpreted to include sexual orientation. Employment discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation has been banned since 2010 in Botswana, making it one of the few African countries to have such protections for LGBT people. LEGABIBO is the country's main LGBT advocacy group and promotes awareness and acceptance of LGBT people. Homosexuality and same-sex relations have been documented among various modern-day Botswana groups. In the 18th century, the Khoikhoi people recognized the terms coetsire, which refers to a man who is sexually receptive to another man, and sororgas, which refers to mutual masturbation, usually among friends. Anal intercourse and sexual relations between women also occurred, though more rarely. The San people similarly did not regard homosexuality negatively, and various rock paintings depicting anal intercourse between men exist to this day. The Shona people, a Bantu ethnic group who make up the majority of Botswana's population, also have a local term to refer to homosexuality. The Shona term matanola, which literally translates to anal sex, has long been used to refer to homosexuals. Prior to colonization, Shona society did not share the Western concepts of sexuality and gender. Many Shona men would have sex with men, but also have wives. Homosexuality was not viewed as an antithesis to heterosexuality. Indeed, there was widespread liberty to engage in sexual activity with both men and women. Traditional Dikosi argue that homosexuality has always existed in Shona society, and that such individuals should be respected. This relative openness and indifference towards homosexuality disappeared after Botswana became a British protectorate in the 19th century and began enforcing Victorian-era laws and social policies. Same-sex sexual acts became legal on the 11th of June 2019. Previously, sodomy, whether heterosexual or homosexual, was criminalized, punishable by up to 7 years imprisonment. The law criminalizing such sexual activity applied to both men and women. Initially, its application was limited to men only. However, a Botswana court found this to be discriminatory and that the law should apply to women as well. Although same-sex sexual acts remained illegal until June 2019, their prosecution was rare according to a 2004 publication. On the 30th of March 2016, the Gaborone City Council unanimously approved a motion calling for the repeal of Botswana's criminalization of same-sex sexual acts. Letsweletsa Motshidimang, a student at the University of Botswana, was the lead plaintiff in a case to legalize homosexuality in Botswana. In November 2017, Legabibo successfully applied to join the case as a friend of the court. The lawsuit sought to declare Section 164 and 167 of the Penal Code unconstitutional because they interfere with his fundamental right to liberty, freedom of privacy, as well as his right to use his body as he sees fit. However, the Deputy Attorney General argued that these sections were constitutional because they prohibited certain sexual acts which may be conducted by those of all sexual orientations, whether heterosexual or homosexual, and thus that these laws do not discriminate based on sexual orientation. Initially, the High Court was supposed to hear the case in March 2018. In February, however, The Deputy Attorney General asked for more time to respond to the plaintiff's claims as such. The High Court moved the hearing to the 31st of May 2018. The case was then postponed again. On the 6th of December 2018, the court rescheduled the hearing for the 14th of March 2019. LGBT activists presented their arguments at the hearing and were given a date of the 11th of June for the judgment. On the 11th of June, the High Court decriminalized same-sex sexual activity by unanimously declaring that Section 164 of Botswana's penal code was unconstitutional. The judgment was welcomed by the ruling Botswana Democratic Party. Judge Michael Leberu further said that such laws deserve a place in the museum or archives and not in the world. Human dignity is harmed when minority groups are marginalized. Sexual orientation is not a fashion.